yeah, we have extradition agreements with you for murder and things. This is just, you're under European law. We're coming to arrest you for your speech or whatever. Your cars have to become part of the Internet of Things. It's all part of that Google Panopticon spy system. It's all up at Infowars.com. And briefly, I've done a lot of research. People can debate this all day. Reverse osmosis is great. Water distillation is great. All of that's wonderful. But it cuts out many of the good minerals. So I cook with reverse osmosis. I've got distillation systems if I need it. But I just do a mix. I drink my well water. I drink my rainwater. But when I'm on the road, I've got a Pro Pure road filter. In my house, I drink a lot of filtered water because with a system like Pro Pure that we have discounted at Infowars.com, 10% off when you put product code WATER in, it's a gravity-fed filter, and it reduces many things to non-detectable levels. It's got special fluoride filters that reduces it almost down to nothing. You can put swamp water in this and drink it. The point is that it's just the latest development and the best one I've used. There's a lot of other good ones out there, but it's just heads above the rest. Look at the side-by-side comparison at Infowars.com. Click on the shopping cart link. Go to the water filter section. They also have shower filter systems. They're the best we found out there for the price that reduce everything. Doesn't cut it all out. Some things are so small, but it reduces it. And a lot of the poison you're getting is through the biggest organ in your body, the skin. You're also breathing it through your lungs. So the shower filter is essential. I live in the country now and have rainwater. But still, I like to filter it because there's stuff in the rain now. There's so many toxins out there. So again, go look at the side-by-side comparisons with the leading competitor at Infowars.com with the Pro Pure. Also, don't forget InfoWarsTeam.com. You can get big discounts and free shipping when you sign up and sign up for Auto Ship to get the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, the Rebound, the Cell Shield CTQ. I've lost 40-plus pounds. You know, when I'm sitting down, it kind of, because I've got a long torso, kind of squashes it, so it looks like I have somewhat of a belly. I'm actually, when I'm standing up and got my shirt off, the beginnings of the six-pack are popping. And soon, I'm going to, I just haven't gotten around to it, I'm going to take myself 4 months ago, 40-plus pounds heavier, side by side my face, just on the TV and radio, and show it to you. And I'm also, I got some photos my wife took when I was walking around the house in my shorts before this with just giant plubs of fat. It wasn't that fat, but, you know, had some love handles. And I'm going to take photos in my shorts and show you this. It's amazing. I mean, the guns are back, everything. You know, and I'm not even lifting weights, by the way, because I don't want to get bigger. But my muscles, everything, all I'm doing is some jogging and swimming. And it's amazing. Because, by the way, folks, it's all pure muscle right there. People are like, man, he's got some big man breasts. No, folks. No, that's muscle, ladies and gentlemen. That's King Kong level right there. Check it out, Beyond Tangy Tangerine, InfoWarsTeam.com.
Alex Jones.
Gus and Lolly, I'm going to at least get to your two calls right now, and everybody else can hold if you'd like, because I've got guests coming up with breaking news on Oklahoma City and key testimony by a star witness of the inside job attack. That's all coming up. Then the third hour news blitz. Your phone calls continue here today. Got the big news-making Rand Paul interview, the video of that up at Infowars.com right now. Right now, let's go to Gus in California. You're on the air, Gus.
Hi, Alex. How are you?
Good, buddy.
My daughter spends some weekends with your friend Dave and Pam.
Oh, cool. Cool. So she's friends with the Mustangs?
Yeah. They go to school together. I'm a long-time listener, and I'm calling, and I finally got through. And, you know, it's very depressing seeing what we're seeing, because it's like there's no way around this, you know.
Yeah, well, you know what would happen if citizens started picking out cameras and deciding they'd disappear, they'd remove them. People started attacking all the cameras in Arizona. They're pulling them out. I'm not saying do that, but yes, it's overwhelming because the globalists are just doing whatever they want. They don't care. They're just exercising power against us. We're going to have to start exercising power. You start looking for opportunities to peacefully sabotage the globalist. Let's say you live next door to an elitist, or you're serving an elitist dinner and you hear him talking about criminal stuff. Just put it out there. Start getting aggressive. There's ways. Look, it's like Fight Club. Wherever Tyler Durden goes, people are like, hey, I get it. Most people aren't prominent in a fight for liberty, so they don't know how many other people are awake. I am prominent. I do know. I mean, it's ridiculous now. I can go to a restaurant in another city or another country, and half the people come over to me. And I can barely buy myself dinner. And everybody's winking and saying, we know what's going on. Or I see Austin cops, and they stop and go, we're awake, riding their bicycles downtown. I'm like, okay, you're awake. Do something. See, people are awake. They're just not doing something. Or they see the other half who isn't awake, Gus, and they think, well, nobody cares. I mean, what do you think?
I think it's very depressing because nobody's doing anything. When I watched this lady yesterday, go ahead and tell the truth, and she goes out and she says, I told the people in the building, and they go, well, my government wouldn't do that. Well, what's wrong with humanity? I think they have reverse Munchausen by proxy or something like that.
No, I agree with you. They want to be abused by the government, but it's Stockholm Syndrome, really. Where about 40% on average of people, depends on the nation, state, and the group, and their history, but around 40%, if they get kidnapped, will start worshiping the kidnappers and join them and fight for the kidnappers. Because people decide to rationalize and just be part of it. No, you're right. We have massive Stockholm Syndrome.
It's ridiculous. I mean, they kill the president. They kill his son. They like, I'm listening, Sonny Bono. All this time, I honestly thought, and I'm one of those conspiracy nuts, they call me, like, there's no way you're going to convince me there were any terrorists on 9/11 because there's no way an aluminum airplane can go through a building. Just go watch the footage of that military jet that fell in San Diego a couple of weeks ago. Okay, it fell into a brick building, a 2-story building. The building was still standing. It's a joke that people think that 2 airplanes could go through.
No, that's it. No steel building of that type had ever fallen from fire. They've had big jets hit them before. They burn for weeks sometimes. Nothing falls, but little bitty supports. And and insurance now is having to reevaluate and charge more for big buildings. And they're saying now they can fall, even though their internal science at Underwriter Laboratory says it's impossible. I mean, pretty soon you can say you blow at a building. If they said an Easter bunny blew on the buildings, then they would have to stop building buildings because an Easter bunny might blow on them again. It's all fantasy land. Great points. Holland, Vandennieuwenhof, one of the writers and producers of A Noble Lie, Oklahoma City, 1995, is our guest for the next hour or so, along with the director, James Lane. And I had James on last night with Jane Graham, one of the survivors of the globalist bombing 17 years ago today of the Alfred P. Murrah building in Oklahoma City. And to go over the evidence of this is mind-blowing. How much of an inside job it is and how totally proven. Like with 9/11, we know the official story is a lie. We know who had the motive. We know PNAC wrote documents that it would help to have a big terror attack, to take the liberties and launch wars. 3,000 dead would be good, Dick Cheney said. September 20th, 2000, Rebuilding America's Defenses, PNAC. Look it up. They have their own website. They're proud of it. All these White House memos that are out now, 3 of them, from advisors saying Oklahoma City or new 9/11 is the only way you're getting reelected. You can blame your enemies with it. Gee, we sure need this. I mean, they're like saying they're doing it. That's how dumb they think we are. And it's like, even if people know it's an inside job now, self-inflicted wound has now entered the vernacular to a great extent, people still just go along with the big media event and the children, and we'll get those enemies, and let's show some American flags. When the terrorists are within, the enemy within is the plague. The traitor is the plague. And anger is a gift, and focused indignation to take action against these people. And it begins with not being cowards. We're going to play about 8-9 minutes of the hour-long Jane Graham interview that's at Prisonplanet.tv. We've also now posted it on the YouTube channel from the Nightly News last night. Get it out to everyone. In fact, I forget the headline on that. I don't even think we posted that on Infowars.com. So our webmasters are so great, but there's so much news. that it's like we always post everybody else's stuff. Like, look, this guy dropped a shoe on the side of the road. Let's make that the top story instead of all of our bombshells. Again, I mean, we are the best there is. Doesn't even mean we're that good, but we're still the best there is right now. If you go to Infowars.com, any of the articles, and just go to the little links at the top, you see the YouTube symbol, go to the Alex Jones channel, and it's OKC bombing star witness reveals, and let me click on the actual video to give you the full header there. In fact, we can actually zoom in on this. Oklahoma City bombing star witness reveals staged government terror attack. And it's an hour and 1 minute interview, and it goes through all of it, and it's powerful. And she's also in A Noble Lie, Oklahoma City, 1995. Jane Graham, Alex Jones, the inventor of the neutron bombs in it. General Benton Partin, former head of Air Force weapons development, multi-time engineer. I mean, it just goes on and on. Police officers like Don Browning, the FBI comes, we'll kill you and your wife. He was the head of the K-9 unit there minutes after. If you talk about what you saw, Terrence Yagey, they talked to his family. He was murdered, cop of the year. I mean, folks, this is sensationally evil, what the globalists did. The truth is so much crazier. And it's the very crew running things now at the Justice Department that were involved in the cover-up of the black op teams in FBI, CIA, defense intelligence we know is connected at certain levels. I mentioned ATF, FBI. A Noble Lie available at Infowars.com. People have died. Police officers have been brutally tortured to death for the information in this film. Do you understand that? And Jane Graham on the show last night talked about all the different threats. Other police officers she talked to. And where they'd go to the police chief and others, and they'd say, yeah, you better shut up or you're dead. I got some golf to play, you know. But still, the FBI and others were real sad about the blown-up children. Meanwhile, I mean, that's the even sicker part, is I had to hear on the news what heroes the feds were and how they were going to keep us safe. They're not the feds. They're the criminals. But you don't think criminals don't want the federal government that can tax tens of trillions a year and steal it and give it to themselves? That's all it is. Crooks took over. Crooks took over. Crooks took over. A Noble Lie, Oklahoma City. And why do I have it here next to Behind the Green Mask, Agenda 21? Also available at Infowars.com. Because to carry out this total tyranny and the shutdown of society, literally making us all prisoners and turning America into a giant prison, it's worldwide, Agenda 21, by the way. But I'm just talking about the U.S. right now. They need to stage the terror attack to demonize those that were against the UN takeover. That's what Oklahoma was doing, was leading a states' rights movement against Agenda 21. They had resolutions against it in their state house. So they got picked for the daycare center, a little bomb shoved in it. And they had the FBI director's deputy there an hour after, blocking the fire department from going in and making sure those unexploded goodies got taken out. Cops that talked about it get X's for eyes. You've got the FBI head of counterterrorism there lying, saying he wasn't. These are nice people. These are very nice people. But you're supposed to be sappy. Wrap yourself in an American flag and say, I'm not going to believe it. And then salute the foreign terrorists that have hijacked our government and say, patriotism is having the troops die.